It was an ordinary morning in Lily's cozy home. The sun was shining brightly through the kitchen window, casting warm golden light across the floor. The birds were singing outside, and everything seemed perfect. Misty, the pregnant cat, lay curled up on the soft couch, her belly gently rising and falling with each peaceful breath. She was calm, comfortable, and enjoying her quiet morning nap. Lily, Misty's owner, was also preparing for her day. She had just finished her coffee and was getting dressed for a meeting with her friends. She always enjoyed getting ready in the mornings, picking out the perfect outfit, and making herself look her best. Today, she had decided to wear her favorite pair of high heels, sleek, black, and elegant. They were perfect for the day ahead, and she had worn them many times before. She knew they made her feel confident and stylish. As Lily walked across the room, her heels clicked sharply against the hardwood floor. The sound echoed in the peaceful room, but Misty didn't seem bothered. She had heard those heels many times before. But today, something felt different. The air seemed heavier, and Misty's tail flicked nervously as she watched Lily move around the room. Lily didn't notice the small shift in the atmosphere. She was focused on getting ready, checking herself in the mirror, and making sure everything was just right. But Misty, always aware of her surroundings, couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She raised her head from her cozy spot on the couch, her green eyes watching Lily as she moved across the room. There was a nervous energy in the air, and Misty could sense it. The soft click of the heels continued as Lily made her way toward the front door, ready to leave for the day. Misty's eyes followed her every move, but she didn't expect what was about to happen. As Lily took a step forward, she felt her heel catch on the edge of the rug. It happened so quickly. Lily's foot slipped, and her balance was lost. For a split second, everything seemed to freeze. Misty's heart raced. She saw Lily stumble, her arms flailing as she tried to regain her balance. The high heels that Lily loved so much were now causing the danger. As Lily's body tilted to one side, she reached out in a desperate attempt to stop herself from falling. But it was too late. The next few seconds happened so fast that neither Lily nor Misty could react in time. The heel of Lily's shoe slipped completely, and with a loud thud, Lily fell onto the floor. The force of her fall made the entire room shake for a moment. Misty's ears twitched at the sudden loud noise, and her body instantly went stiff with fear. Misty jumped to her feet in a panic, trying to get out of the way, but she was slow. She was carrying a litter of kittens, and her movements weren't as quick as they used to be. Her belly made it harder for her to jump away in time. As Lily fell, Misty darted toward the side, but the chaos had already begun. Misty, in her panic, tried to avoid the falling Lily, but the shock of the sudden movement caused her to slip on the smooth floor. Misty's tiny paws scrambled to find grip, but the floor was too slick, and she slid toward the table nearby. Her body collided with the edge of the table, causing a loud crash. The sound was enough to send a wave of panic through both of them. Misty's heart raced. She quickly tried to stand, but her legs were shaky from the sudden impact. She let out a small, frightened meow, her eyes wide with fear. Lily, still lying on the floor, groaned in pain. Her ankle throbbed, and she could feel a sharp ache from the fall. But all she could think about was Misty. She quickly looked over at the cat, who was struggling to stand. She couldn't believe how everything had gone wrong in an instant. "Misty!" Lily cried out, her voice filled with panic. She immediately crawled toward her pregnant cat, trying to reach her through the pain. "Oh no, are you okay?" Misty's breathing was fast and shallow. Her eyes locked with Lily's, and there was a deep sense of fear in the air. Misty had always been a gentle and calm cat, but now, with the unexpected accident, she was scared. Her belly ached from the impact, and the little kittens inside her seemed to be moving restlessly. She let out a low, worried meow, but couldn't find the strength to move. Lily reached her, gently lifting her up into her arms, but she was shaking. She could feel Misty's heart racing against her chest. "I'm so sorry, Misty," Lily whispered, her eyes filling with tears. "I didn't mean for this to happen." The moment was filled with fear and worry. What if Misty was hurt? What if the kittens inside her were in danger? Lily knew she had to act quickly. She didn't want to waste a second, but she was terrified. The calm morning had turned into chaos in an instant, and now Lily had to find a way to make sure Misty and her kittens were safe. Lily held Misty tightly in her arms, her heart racing as she tried to make sense of the situation. The sharp pain in her ankle made it difficult to focus, but her mind was fixed solely on Misty. Lily's hands trembled as she cradled the pregnant cat, trying to comfort her, but inside, she was in total panic. Misty was still breathing quickly, her body pressed against Lily's chest, and the kittens inside her seemed to move restlessly. "Please, please be okay," Lily whispered through gritted teeth, the tears welling up in her eyes. She could feel the little life inside Misty, but there was a constant worry in her chest. What if the fall had caused something to go wrong? What if one of the kittens was hurt? She couldn't bear the thought of it. With Misty still trembling in her arms, Lily made the decision. She couldn't wait another minute. She had to get Misty to the vet. Time seemed to stretch as Lily carefully stood up, her ankle throbbing in pain. She couldn't worry about herself right now. The only thing that mattered was getting Misty to safety. Misty mewed weakly as she was gently placed into the carrier. Her eyes were wide with fear, and her usual calmness was nowhere to be found. She kept looking up at Lily, her gaze filled with confusion and concern. Misty had been through so much already, and now she was in pain. Lily couldn't stop the tears from falling. How could she have been so careless? If only she hadn't worn those high heels, none of this would have happened. The drive to the vet felt like it took forever. Every second was torture. Lily kept her eyes on Misty, watching her every movement. Misty's breathing was shallow, and every time the car hit a bump, she flinched, causing Lily to panic more. It was as if Misty could sense Lily's fear. They were connected in that moment, each one desperate for reassurance. As they arrived at the clinic, Lily rushed inside, barely able to keep her composure. The receptionist looked up, startled at Lily's urgency. "Is everything okay?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. "No, please. I need to see the vet right now," Lily pleaded, holding Misty close to her chest. The receptionist quickly ushered them to an exam room, and moments later, the vet entered. Dr. Harper, the vet, immediately noticed the distress in Lily's face and the nervousness in Misty's eyes. "What happened?" she asked calmly, but her expression showed she understood the seriousness of the situation. "Misty, she's pregnant. I think she's hurt from the fall," Lily explained, her voice shaky. "Please, help her." Dr. Harper nodded, her face serious. She gently examined Misty, checking for any signs of injury. Lily watched anxiously, barely able to breathe. Every second felt like an eternity. Finally, after what seemed like a long, agonizing silence, Dr. Harper looked up from her examination. "Misty's injuries are minor, but we need to keep her calm. The fall didn't harm the kittens, thank goodness," Dr. Harper said, her voice reassuring. "The most important thing right now is that she rests." Lily let out a breath she didn't even realize she was holding. Her entire body relaxed for the first time since the accident. The relief was overwhelming, but there was still a sense of guilt gnawing at her. What if something worse had happened? What if the kittens hadn't been okay? "She'll be fine, but she needs peace and quiet for a few days," Dr. Harper continued. "No stress, no running around. Keep her in a calm environment, and monitor her closely. The kittens are fine." Misty gave a small meow, as if understanding that the worst had passed. She lay still in Lily's arms, and for the first time in hours, there was a quiet stillness in the air. Lily looked down at her, a deep sense of relief washing over her. "Thank you, Dr. Harper," Lily whispered, her voice full of gratitude. "I don't know what I would have done if anything had happened to her." As Lily left the clinic with Misty safely in her arms, she couldn't help but think about how lucky they both were. The accident had shaken her to the core, but it had also taught her something important: how fragile life could be, how quickly things could change. Misty's calmness and strength in that moment had shown Lily how much she loved her. And now, Lily knew she had to do everything in her power to keep Misty safe, especially in these final days before she would become a mother. They drove home together in silence, the weight of the day finally sinking in. Misty rested peacefully in her carrier, her body still shaken, but her spirit strong. Lily's thoughts raced as she promised herself that nothing would harm Misty or the kittens again. Now, it was up to Lily to protect them both, to make sure the rest of the journey would be peaceful and safe. The following days passed slowly. Lily stayed close to Misty, determined to help her recover from the terrifying accident. Each day, she made sure Misty was comfortable and rested. She placed soft blankets in the spots Misty loved to lie on and kept her warm. She kept the house quiet, limiting any noise or movement that could upset Misty. Lily couldn't take any chances. After all, the kittens inside Misty needed to be safe too. Misty seemed to grow calmer with each passing day. The initial shock of the fall had worn off, and she began to eat again, though she was still careful with her movements. She no longer darted around in a panic like she had right after the accident. Her once wide, frightened eyes had softened, and she would often curl up beside Lily, purring gently, her body relaxed and at peace. Lily couldn't help but smile every time she felt the warmth of Misty's body pressed against her. But despite this progress, Lily couldn't shake the memory of that terrifying moment. She kept replaying it in her mind. Misty falling, the loud crash, the panic in Misty's eyes. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the fear in Misty's face, and it made her stomach twist in guilt. What if something had happened to the kittens? What if she hadn't acted fast enough? She would sit by Misty's side at night, stroking her soft fur, whispering promises to her. "I'll never let anything happen to you again, Misty," Lily would say quietly. "You're safe now, and I'm going to protect you." Then, one evening, as the sun began to set, something miraculous happened. Misty's body shifted slightly in her sleep, and Lily heard a soft, faint sound like a quiet meow. Lily froze for a moment, unsure if she had imagined it. But then it came again, a small, high-pitched mew. Her heart skipped a beat. Misty had started to go into labor. Lily rushed to Misty's side, gently stroking her fur and comforting her. "It's okay, Misty. You're going to be just fine," Lily whispered, her voice filled with emotion. The panic of the past few days had faded, replaced by a new wave of anticipation and excitement. As the night grew darker, Misty gave birth to her first kitten, a small wet ball of fur that mewed softly as it took its first breath. Lily gasped with joy, her eyes welling up with tears. Misty licked her kitten gently, purring softly as she nuzzled her newborn. The next few hours passed with Lily by Misty's side, watching as one kitten after another was born. Each one was smaller than Lily had expected, but they were all healthy and strong. Misty was an excellent mother, purring and nuzzling each kitten as soon as it arrived. Her anxiety from the accident had disappeared, and she was now fully focused on her new family. By the time morning came, Misty had given birth to a full litter of 4 kittens. Lily couldn't believe it. After everything that had happened, this moment was nothing short of a miracle. She had feared the worst, but Misty and her kittens had made it through. Lily carefully picked up each kitten, gently cradling them in her hands, and watched as Misty nursed them, her eyes soft with contentment. In that moment, all the pain, the worry, and the fear faded away. Lily knew that Misty and her kittens were going to be okay. She had been given a second chance to protect them, and this time, she wouldn't let anything stand in her way. As Misty rested, surrounded by her new family, Lily sat beside her, her heart full of love and gratitude. She looked down at the tiny kittens, their soft fur and small, delicate bodies. They were so fragile, so innocent. Lily knew she had to protect them at all costs, just as she had promised Misty. In the days that followed, Lily made sure to give Misty and her kittens all the love and care they needed. She kept them warm, fed, and safe from the outside world. Misty's kittens grew stronger with each passing day, their little eyes opening, their first tiny steps shaky but determined. Misty seemed happier than ever, her body relaxed as she watched her kittens grow. Lily would often catch Misty looking up at her, purring contentedly, as if thanking her for all the love and protection she had given her. And in that quiet, peaceful house, Lily realized just how much Misty meant to her. What had started as a terrifying accident had turned into something beautiful. Misty and her kittens were safe, and Lily had learned a lesson she would never forget. Sometimes life throws unexpected challenges in our way, but it's how we face those challenges that makes all the difference. As Lily watched Misty nuzzle her kittens, she whispered softly to herself, "You're both safe now. I'll always protect you."